Our story begins upon Malachor 5, as Meetra Surik fights Lord Zion, the Lord of Pain. She wins the fight like in her canon fight. Of course, she would have a hard time. And after this fight, she would go fight Correa, her mentor that has been her mentor for years now. At least a year almost, fighting by her side. And then this all-of-a-sudden betrayal sparked a curiosity within her. Why would someone so close be a betrayer? It is like Correa said, there must always be a Darth Treya. There always must be a betrayer in a group somewhere. She would leave Malachor 5 after defeating Darth Treya. And soon after, she would enter the Ebon Hawk, leaving the planet to be destroyed. Behind her, now something would go strange. Instead of going with Revan, leaving her companions behind, she would still leave her companions behind and go search for Revan. But something malfunctioned within the Ebon Hawk's hyperspace. Instead of going with Revan to fight the Emperor of today, she was put in a certain carbonation to be held, and T3 shot his power down, so that way he may be reactivated later on. T3 and the ship have been sitting out in space for years. The only thing that would activate them is combat, or whenever they get to Droman Kos. But little did they know they would never reach Droman Kos because the ship had a little malfunction with its navigation systems, as usual, as T3 would activate the ship systems once again after all these centuries of it just sitting still. It finally warmed up, and T3 decided to land it on the nearest planet, but he didn't know it was the Clone Wars now. He thought it was still his time, and so he charted course for Christosis. At the Battle of Christosis, clone troopers are fighting, along with Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi. As they fight, Obi-Wan tells Anakin he's getting a new youngling, but he did not tell Anakin that indeed this youngling was his. As Ahsoka would land her shuttle, she would reveal that she was indeed Anakin Skywalker's new apprentice. But that would not be the only Jedi ship that would be landing. As the Ebon Hawk would land, no one would know what this vessel was, if it was friendly or if it was an enemy. But indeed, a Jedi Master seemed to walk out. Everyone was shocked and confused, as Meetra had old clothing from the Old Republic. As for Meetra, she wouldn't have to introduce herself because she wouldn't want to during the middle of the battle, as she would cut down droids left to right. She has seen droids like this before, but much more strong, much more harder to cut through than this, but she could still see why they were a formidable opponent. But all they had was numbers. As Anakin and Obi-Wan cut through the buildings like they did in canon, they would eventually meet Asajj Ventress over the rooftop. And now this would be different because Meetra Surik would be the first one to find Ventress. Asajj would just see another Jedi to kill as she would activate her lightsabers to fight Meetra Surik. This would not go well with Ventress, as she found herself losing to Meetra Surik. But not just losing emotionally and mentally. She felt the force leaving her body for some reason. It was like Meetra was draining her, but no, this was only a Sith power. Perhaps Meetra was a Sith? She thought for a moment, but that questioning led to a strike from Meetra upon her shoulder. Meetra was going to kill Asajj. Asajj, feeling her life is in danger, she already escaped before she even fought Kenobi or Skywalker, but she did still have the information about Jabba's son. We cut a few episodes later at the lair of Grievous. During the Clone Wars, the lair of Grievous was hard to travel, but not with Meetra Surik. Meetra Surik was kind of a Clone Wars vigilante, if you give it. She would go anywhere that there was a battle and try to win that battle. If there was no hope, then she would retreat. And she would tell others to retreat along with her, freedom fighters and all. Kit Fisto and his young apprentice solved the lair of Grievous puzzle, but his apprentice was stunned to see another Jedi come along. Relatively, General Grievous' fight for the first time would go the same because he would surprise attack them. Meetra would call him a bug as he ran away, and Kit Fisto's apprentice would try to chase after him recklessly. But Kit Fisto couldn't hold back his apprentice no more. His apprentice was now a Jedi Knight, and Meetra Surik told Kit Fisto to let him go do his own things, to experience life, and if he fails to experience life, then he will surely die if he is not cautious. Kit Fisto would understand Meetra, as Meetra would help the young apprentice know that Grievous is always a runner and not to take it too seriously. As Grievous would fight again because Meetra and the young apprentice were he was tired of this constant pressure from the Jedi Master and the Jedi apprentice. He would have to separate the weakest one and the Jedi apprentice and how they could fight him. So we have to kill one by one until he was the sole victor. So he kept on pressing upon the young apprentice, but Meetra would not stop. She would make good use of those 4 lightsabers that she had. She couldn't believe he was this good as just a droid. So she looked into the Force and saw he was once a living being with a life. As the General Grievous lair arc continued, General Grievous would somehow get the apprentice alone and kill him as he did in canon. Unfortunately, Meetra Surik could not save him. It felt like she couldn't do much in this galaxy that had new modern fighting styles, but Kit Fisto was on point. He is what every Jedi standard should be. Should be able to defeat this droid figure with ease. But the droid figure was good at copying forms, which meant she had to do a different style. Form 1. Kit Fisto used it, and Grievous seemed to not be able to keep up because it was unpredictable, and since he had no Force abilities, he actually couldn't predict where they were going to swing. As Grievous would push the aggression against Kit Fisto, putting 2 lightsabers against 2 because Kit Fisto activated his apprentice's lightsaber, and Meetra Surik did the same with her 2 lightsabers. It was 4 versus 4, but General Grievous had no idea what to do. These people, 2 Jedi, too skilled with a lightsaber to compete with. He would have to retreat behind his magma guards. The magma guards would be disposed of easily, but General Grievous escaped, very battle damaged.